Today I am going to discuss about the topic infarction. An infarct is an area of ischemic necrosis caused by occlusion of either the arterial supply or the venous drainage. Tissue infection is common and extremely important cause of clinical illness. Roughly 40% of all the deaths are due to infarction. Pulmonary infarction is also a common complication in many clinical findings. Bovine infection is frequently fatal. Most of the infection is due to arterial thrombosis or arterial embolism. Less common causes of arterial obstruction leading to infarction include local vasospasm, hemorrhage into an atheromatous flake, or extrinsic vessel compression by the tumor. Other uncommon causes of tissue infarction include torsion of vessel, example bowel volvulus, traumatic vascular rupture or vascular compromise by edema, example anterior compartment syndrome of leg or by entrapment in a hernia sac. Although venous thrombosis can cause infarction, the more common outcome is just congestion. Infarcts are classified according to color and presence or absence of infection. They are the red, hemorrhagic, or white, anemic, and maybe septic or band. So now let us see about red infarct. Red infarct. It occurs in venous occlusions, example testicular torsion, in loose, spongy tissues such as lung, where blood can be collected in infected zone. Red infarcts are more common. In tissues with dual circulation, that is, lung and liver, there is more common red infarcts are present. Tissue previously congested by sluggish venous flow is seen in red infarcts. When flow is re-established to a site of previous arterial occlusion and necrosis, red infarcts occur. So now let us see about white infarcts. White infarcts occur in arterial occlusions. It occurs in solid organs. In tissues with end arterial circulation such as spleen and kidney, white infarcts are common. Tissue density limits the seepage of blood from the adjoining capillary beds into the necrotic area. Infarcts tend to be wedge-shaped with the occluded vessel at apex and periphery of organ forming the base. When the base is serosal surface, there may be an overlying fibrinous exudate resulting from an acute inflammatory response to mediated release from injured and necrotic cells. Fresh infarcts are poorly defined and slightly hemorrhagic, but over a few days, the margins tend to become better defined by narrow rim of congestion attributable to inflammation. The dominant histological characteristic of infarction is ischemic coagulative necrosis. Importantly, if the vascular occlusion has occurred shortly before the death of person, histological changes may be absent. It takes 4 to 12 hours for the dead tissue to show microscopic evidence of necrosis. Acute inflammation is present along the margins of infarcts within a few hours and is usually well defined within or 2 days. Now let us see about the factors that influence the development of an infarct. A vascular occlusion can cause effects ranging from virtually nothing to tissue infarction. First factor is anatomy of vascular supply. The availability of an alternative blood supply is the most important determinant of whether vessel occlusion will cause tissue damage or not. As mentioned earlier, lungs have dual supply such as with pulmonary and bronchial artery blood supply that protects against thromboembolism induced infection. Similarly, the liver with its dual hepatic artery and portal vein circulation and the hand and forearm with the dual radial and ulnar artery supply are all relatively resistant to infection. In contrast, renal and splenic circulations or end arterial and vascular obstruction generally causes tissue death, and which has more factor that influence the development of an infarct. The second factor is rate of occlusion. So, in slowly developing occlusions, less likely it is caused to infarction because they provide time for development of collateral pathways of perfusion. For example, small interarterial anastomosis, normally with minimal functional flow, interconnect the three major coronary arteries in the heart. If one of the coronaries is occluded slowly, that is, by an encroachment atherosclerotic plaque, flow within the collateral circulation may increase sufficiently to prevent infection even though the large coronary artery is eventually occluded. The third factor is tissue vulnerability to hypoxia. Neurons undergo irreversible damage when deprived of the blood supply for only 3 to 4 minutes. Myocardial cells, although hardier than neurons, are also quite sensitive and die after only 20 to 30 minutes of ischemia. In contrast, fibroblasts with myocardium remain viable even after many hours of ischemia. The fourth factor is hypoxemia. Abnormal low blood oxygen content increases both the likelihood and extent of infection. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe and support the channel. Thank you.